Hey. Hope everybody's doing good. Carl Bryan coming at you. I'm here with my boy, Kenya Pat. Pat, what's happening, man?
Oh, it's been a good week. Lots of good progress. Things happening around the world. Things in the software moving ahead. So
That is
very
it.
happy about that.
I noticed your screen. There might be something there that might prompt a few to ask you about something that might be on the left-hand side at the bottom. That might get them excited. But Pat's not going to let you see it. He's going to tease you.
Yep.
All right. What do we do here, buddy? If you guys, as per always, guys, this is a Q&A call. You guys provide the Q. We provide the A. So if you got a question, either raise your hand or plunk a question in the box, and we will handle it. So with that, let's open up a couple of folks. So back, Pat, anything before we get going here, bud? Anything from your end?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, we're just working on stuff in the background, and we got a lot of stuff going on. We got a big project we'll put out for beta testing in a couple of weeks. We're very close. And we're working on a lot of other updates as well, just going through the software. And I think, Carl, they might be interested to know we have this meeting at least twice a week we call Remarkable.
Yeah,
and we just go through the software and we look at every single thing saying, how can we make this more remarkable? And, we make lists of things for our developers to work on. But it's just a continuous, never-ending Kaizen experience, like literally. So I love it.
Yeah. And as we literally call it Remarkable Hour. So there you go, guys. The plan is we look at it. We think what we got is remarkable. Hopefully you guys think so too. But the plan is to make it even more remarkable. In fact, one of the ideas that we came up with today, what did you say? Pat goes, yeah, it's remarkable, but with small letters. It's not with capitals. So we're like, oh, that's not good enough then. Hang on a minute. We're going to push harder to make Pat capitalize it and give it a couple of exclamation marks. So that's the kind of stuff we're doing, folks. It's fun. All right. On that note, why don't we open up a couple of folks? And again, guys, Q&A call. We need some Q's so we can provide some A's. Otherwise, we're going to end up having a short call, which is also okay. But let's go open somebody up. What about who do we got here? Larry Grunwald coming for you. Larry, you're self-muted, my friend. You are self-muted. There he is. Larry, you're live.
Can you hear me?
I sure can. What's happening?
Well, I did. It was only I was on a call with Walt, and so my hand was probably still up from that. This is my first.
You're a newbie, so you're fresh out of the gates.
This is my first call. I don't even have the, he's going to send the login information later tomorrow, and I thought, well, should I even come to this call? I don't even have the software yet.
And now we're opening you up. That's how we roll. We don't muck around, Larry. There's no, what do they say? Shy kids have skinny kids. So that doesn't happen around here.
Okay.
So tell us, how are we doing so far, and any questions? Either you don't even know the software yet, but any questions on what we're doing so far?
Well, no, I mean, the original reason I joined the program was because of the software, because I thought it was like, the perfect thing for, getting results, because my coaching was more mindset opposed to, which is supposed to create results, but there were no guarantees. And this is like, answer to my prayers, you might say.
Hey.
So that's what I hear. And actually, Larry, so you're doing more like personal development, life coaching type stuff, or give us before you met us, what were you selling? Curious.
No, it's business coaching, but I just had my own
mindset
process, and mindset was kind of like the reason people weren't getting done what they were supposed to be getting done. But they knew they were to do it, but they wouldn't do it.
So if I were to press Larry and say, like, here's a business owner, and let's call him again, a landscaper. On average, where do you normally go? What's the massive shift that you normally get out of the average business owner? Where do you go with your mindset methodology?
Well, first, I wouldn't go to the mindset in the beginning.
Where do you go? No.
The first thing I would do is just see, what's going on in their business, what are they having problems with, and then there say, okay, let's look into that a little further. And then I say, then I would, may or may not bring up the mindset as the underlying problem, but, find some steps that they need to do, to create more leads or to, service their clients better.
Completely I like it. How's it going? Is it going well?
Yeah, well, I just actually, started a completely new marketing campaign. So I like I'm starting from zero and starting over again.
That's right. Follow your nose. You'll do well, Larry. Don't worry. You're in good hands, buddy.
Nothing new, right? Everybody's starting over.
That's it. All right. Okay, Larry. Good stuff, bud. I'm going to put you back on mute. Well done. High five, buddy. Where are we going to go next here?
Lois. Where's Lois?
Lois Lane?
Or is that Lewis?
Oh, it's Lewis. Actually, I think that might be Lois, but I think there might be just let's open up Lois and let's open Lois/Lewis and get an explanation. What's going on, Lois Lane?
What's going on with Lois Lane? Well, Superman has been flying around a lot lately. So.
And what happened to Lewis? How come we got Lewis in there? You're normally in here as Lois, and now we got Lewis. What happened? Is your husband named Lewis? Maybe could that be possible?
Well, I don't know how Lewis got in there because he's not been on any of the things that go into this. But yes, my husband's name is Lewis, and many people.
No way! Oh, really? Oh, I was joking. Well, there you go.
You thought you were clever, but it's true.
Well, damn! I thought I was being clever. Your husband's name is Lois, and your name's Lewis. So your names are literally one letter apart.
I'm Lois, and he's Lewis.
Well, that's a classic. Well, there you go. Boom! You learn something new every day, Lois Lane. So, Lois, give us the 101. Give us a question, or give us something cool.
Something cool. So. One of the things that I've been working on a lot is right now, okay, so one of the things that I'm discovering is a lot of people are just plain stressed trying to keep up and move ahead after what they've come out of. And it's interesting, just an FYI, psychologists are calling what we're going through right now a period of languishing. So people aren't just depressed, they're just kind of in a state of stress. They don't know what or why. They just are kind of in this never land of stress. So what I'm discovering is that businesses are also in that place. And so getting them to look at, they know they need help. Yes, they need to move ahead, but making a decision in this world is it's like overwhelming. So what I'm working on right now is making it much simpler for them by doing it. We've talked about groups, but certainly doing it as a group type coaching, but in a more unstructured sort of way at first, so that and low cost to get them in. So. And then the other thing that I'm working on that I'll be doing in August, I'm pulling the stuff together right now, is doing a whole piece on what will move the needle in your company. Let's just look at one thing and let's go for it and figure out a plan month by month by month. You don't have to make a huge commitment that way. It's easier when you're feeling like you're languishing.
Yep. I love it.
So that's where I.
Yeah, cool. Just so you know, and again, just to back up what you said, what did I can't remember how you worded it, but a challenge in their business is just a challenge in their mind, right? So you introduce me to somebody with a disorganized business. If I walk into his office or I look in his car, I look in his room, probably it's going to be a mess also, right? And the magic there is that when you clean your room, you clean your office, you clean your car, magically your business starts straightening out. It's this really weird dynamic. But yeah, you're definitely going to find that the business challenges live in their head and the challenges in their head live in their business. So follow that as a guide and you'll be doing real well.
It just takes a little bit more
Bananas?
time, but I
Yep.
think in the long run, they'll be more loyal.
Oh, who do you think is going to be more loyal? For what reason?
Well, I think in the short term, it feels like a longer sell, but in the long term, they're the ones who will stick with you because they'll feel like you got them, you understand them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, small little wins. Progress equals happiness, as they say. So just small little wins, but then bring it to their attention, and yeah, you will do well. But that's fabulous, Lois. Appreciate it. Anything else for us?
You are welcome. Thank you, guys.
You bet.
You're
Okay, I'm going
welcome.
to sign you off as Lewis because I feel like Lewis should be here. Okay, bye, Lois. Appreciate you, bud. Well, there you go. Pat, did you know that, or did you just guess?
Well, I can see on the board it was Lewis, and I thought, was that the husband?
No, I know, but yeah, exactly. I wonder if we've ever had Lewis on. I should have asked. There you go. I didn't know. I just thought it was a spelling mistake, and it was like,
Well,
anyways.
I noticed Lois's last name was spelled differently as well, so maybe her husband's got an extra consonant in there, I think. Is that right, Lois?
I got to ask this, guys. Lois, is that correct? Is your husband's last name got another letter in there? Oh, no, she disappeared on us.
Anyway.
Okay, there you go.
We have a question from Ron.
Ron, we're coming. Ron Sweetman. Yo, Ron. Hey, you're live.
What's happening, guys? Can you hear me?
We sure
Yes.
can.
Super. So is it possible to get a kind of a high-level sneak peek at what this software update, some of the components of it, in particular, what's got my interest is the group coaching part of it, because that's a key part of what I hope to do here.
Yeah, I'll give you a broad overview. I'm not going to show it today. It's just not ready to show. I only got my hands on this yesterday, let's say, so got a lot of things to work on.
Sure.
What's going to happen? We gave ourselves the challenge of how can we create a group coaching program where our coaches don't have to do any work. So driven by my innate laziness, I thought, how can we create something so that everything is done for you? And that was the goal. So we have 50-week series built, can be divided into different modules like foundations or more leads or more transactions, more conversions and profits. It could be run as a 50-week series. There'll be a video that goes out automatically to your group member probably 3 days before you meet. So let's say you set a meeting for Saturday, the 10th of, well, what's today? Let's say it's Saturday, the 19th of June, if that's a Saturday. So then 3 days before the 16th, that video is going to open up. Also, your client's going to get an email from you explaining the video along with their login and then the pre-meeting action steps they need to take before they come to the meeting. And then eventually they'll have like 3 or 4 of those reminders. They'll show up at the meeting. There'll be a Zoom link. There'll be a countdown on their dashboard so they know when it is.
Pat, may I jump in? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you think maybe popping open the you could freeze your screen there and find, like, what you and I have been trading back and forth over the last couple of days? Would that be valuable for Ron and the others, do you think?
Oh, that's a document.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me find that.
Might be
Because
a
I
little
have
bit of
that.
a, sorry, yeah, sorry to break up your flow, but I think that might help Ron with
A little
what he's
visual in
looking.
there. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
what you described so far is kind of like the 52-week e-learning scenario from
Yeah,
the
it's Ron,
academy. Is
it's
that
like
right?
that on, yeah, it's like that on steroids. You'll see
Okay.
in a sec. Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
can you see my document there?
Yep.
Yes.
We can see it, buddy.
All right. So yeah, just a comprehensive group coaching experience for experienced or beginner coaches where software does all the work for them. This is not our official plan here. This is something I threw together for Carl yesterday in half an hour. Launch date, it's next month, 100% next month it's ready. Target coach, someone who may be experienced but is too busy, wants a system that does 95% of the work coaching for them. Someone with little experience and needs a system they can latch on to and learn quickly. Someone wants to scale better and faster. So we have different module sets, like I just described. Updated, definitely like updated, beautiful PowerPoints, PowerPoint videos. They're still PowerPoint videos, but they are a lot more beautiful.
Yeah.
Interface, this is what we're thinking the coach interface would look like. So we have the main video, explanation on the right, who the members are, how much of the lesson they've watched, if they've downloaded the pre-meeting questionnaire. And if you click on details, we can see their entire activity and how engaged they are. We got coach resources, which is a meeting PowerPoint and a coach meeting game plan. So imagine we have the entire 1 hour coaching session scripted for you from start to finish. All the questions you need to ask to learn about their wins, to figure out their challenges for the week, things like that. The PowerPoint is a summary, that's not the whole video, it's a summary of the video, but it leads the whole meeting with all the click marks inserted into the game plan, so you know where to click the PowerPoint. They have a worksheet they can download on their side. You'll know if they downloaded it or not. They can follow along and take notes during the meeting. Pre-meeting questionnaire, post-meeting action steps. You'll know if they've accessed anything, and quizzes for everything, so you know what they get on the quiz if they do them or not. You can send yourself meeting reminders. There's a whole bunch of steps that you can send out to them. You can take notes, things like that. Now, their part, they'll have the video, they'll have a countdown till the meeting, connect to the meeting, different things they do. So when they actually get a resource, it turns green, so they know they've done it. We haven't figured this part out yet. Estimated % impact on your revenue if you implemented this lesson. We want to be able to take that and put it into the coach's dashboard so he knows what that client thinks he can get, and then they can follow up with maybe individual coaching.
Right on.
So that's kind of you'll be able to see hopefully how many members you have in each group, what they're paying, what your monthly revenue is, things like that. So we just want to make your job easy.
That's much appreciated.
These are the lessons we've created. You can see all these lessons. And for each lesson, we have all these resources. So, and this is why it's taken us 6 months to build this, is because we've been building out basically 8 different resources times 50. There's 400 resources for this. So it's pretty massive.
Yep.
And we're looking at this deal. We haven't fully decided how it's going to work yet, but when you first get a client, they come into your group coaching, and you've got 2 people in your group and one doesn't show up, and then you got one in your group, and it really kind of sucks. Like it's just not a great group experience. And so what we're thinking is that if you're just getting started, you can put them in our group, and Carl and Adrian and I'll run the group meetings, and you still keep all the money. So just we want to make it easy for you guys to
Yeah,
grow.
that
To
makes a lot of
scale.
sense. There's a momentum that takes place when you get at least, two or three in the room together and then the coach can ask the other participants, what do you think about that, Joe? And it gets them to think outside the box, and you can be more of a facilitator, and that creates momentum and energy, and things just get a life of their own. It's so much fun. But you're right, with just one person, it gets a little quiet.
Yeah, and so the idea would be
Yeah.
as you grow your group coaching business, you get 6 or 8 people, 10 people, whatever. We just slide those people over into you. We just bring them over into your group, and then you just continue the group and run it yourself.
So this would be, what do you see it being okay to have a rolling enrollment? Like you got 3 people in and they're already on week 6 or module 6. Would it kind of flow to make sense to bring in a new guy or 2 into the group, and they're going to pick up at week 6 and they'll keep rolling through? Is that possible? Or do you got to start a new group every so often?
Let's say if you run a 14-week foundational group, you might want to start people in the first week, or maybe the second is okay, not the 6th or 7th, because the group's half over.
Right.
Same with these other ones. If you roll them in your comprehensive profit acceleration 50-week group, you just bring them in anytime, and they'll just. The thing about it is, if you bring them in week 20, they're not going to see the previous 19 videos. They're going to be they're going to be hidden, or at least grayed out a little bit. So they have to stay with you for 50 weeks to see those lessons they just missed.
Yeah,
But
that makes sense.
Yeah, and we made it 50 weeks instead of 52 because everyone wants a break. Like, no one wants to keep going every week. Both the coaches and also everyone they want a Christmas break, they want a summer break.
Right.
But we're only going to give them 2-week break. So.
Okay. Kind of a segue. This relates to, and I'm a new guy. I'm just barely in. Not quite a month, so I'm 3 solid weeks in, and I feel like I heard somebody use the analogy the other day, like you got your goggles on, and it's kind of like water skiing when you're just trying to get up, and the water's spraying in your face, and you're absorbing everything. So I feel like I'm actually up on my knees on a knee board anyway, to stay with that analogy.
Yeah.
And in the past, what I've done, so I'll give Carl the Coach Ron 101, where did I come from and what I do. For the past couple of years, I've done really well with a 90-day immersive strategic planning, tactical implementation, kind of sorting through the craziness in a business owner's life and sorting out, well, what are your goals and what do you want to achieve? And, why is that important? And then getting them out of their head and on paper. And we had great success with that 90-day implementation. Actually, it only takes about 8 weeks to get really good clarity. And then after that, I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs going, what am I going to do next with these folks? And so sales and marketing, all of them need it. Now I've got a place to go. There's an e-learning system and there's the profit acceleration software. So 2 things I wonder about, and they're in the profit acceleration software. Once I've gone through and I've done the Jumpstart 12 or the Deep Dive 40, I've got a roadmap and I sort things. Is there a cheat sheet somewhere that says, okay, you're going to do lead generation? That's in the e-learning. It's modules, 19, 20, and 21 in the 52-week period. So I could find those quickly or point them to them to kind of leverage the e-learning modules with what I'm going to cover, kind of like what you have in mind for this group coaching session. I could have them watch the training and then show up. And does that make sense?
Makes sense. It's a great idea. I'm just going to make a note on that right now. And yeah, I like that idea a lot. We don't have it, but we need to have those connections in there. So
it's really helpful for the same reason that you just mentioned. Something else kind of on, so this would be more of a wish list item. This would be as part of the onboarding to simplify what I've noticed worked really well, and it's not in here, at least for you could call it an orientation, and I could see where there's an ROI on it, because that's part of what I asked people in my 90-day solution that I've been selling. Okay, you've got this uncertainty and you don't have a plan, and so what would it be worth in an increase in business or dollars for you to have a plan and have some clarity? So along the lines of having a mission, vision, values section, and then a goals and objectives. What are your 3-year, 12-month, and 90-day goals, and why are those important? And they could actually attach ROI to that. They could factor into this.
Good. Hey, I'm taking notes. So
Love it. Cool. And for everybody listening, actually, Ron, if I could just kind of expand on where you kind of went with that. So part of the magic, guys, behind group coaching is that you're building up a coaching company. And if you're a one-to-one coach, you max out in and around, just call it, for some it's 10 and for other it's 30. Let's just assume it's 20. Once you've got 20 one-to-one clients, you're pretty maxed out. So at that stage, if you want to continue to grow, you got to find some other options. So group coaching, the magic of it is that not only does it not have that same glass ceiling that your one-to-one coaching has, as Ron has kind of just done for us, we really have a huge group coaching program. And Ron's just said, hey, can I have a look at this? Hey, guys, have you thought about that? And then Pat's here taking some notes. Like, we're learning from you. The bigger your group coaching gets, you end up with network effects. So like Ron said, and there's 1 or 2 people, it's kind of lame. But when you get more people in the group and it's a dynamic back and forth, the group coaching becomes significantly better. So not only do you not have the glass ceiling, you get the opposite effect, the network effects. That's a topic I've talked about lots in the past. I won't go on about it here, but in a nutshell, it means that as more clients come on, the experience increases as opposed to the opposite. It's the complete opposite of the average business model. Like when you go and buy a car, you put the key in the ignition, sign the papers, and it literally loses 25% of its value. It loses 25% of its value right there, right then, right? You buy some milk and you open it up, it goes from being worth whatever the number is, $5 to 0 the second you open it, right? So that's most businesses. Well, this is the exact opposite. In fact, if I were to explain network effects in a nutshell, think of your phone. If you had a phone and nobody else in the world had a phone, that would be it's pretty useless, right? It'd be a cool little thing that you had, but it's it's nothing you can really use. If Ron has a phone and I have a phone, we both have phones. It's good for him. It's good for me. We now have a walkie-talkie, but it's not really all that functional. Pat, it's useless to Pat. If everybody on the planet has a phone, imagine how the more people have phones, the more functional your phone becomes. That idea. So that's network effects in a nutshell. So as you grow, you accelerate. That's how Amazon and Uber and Airbnb become, not billion-dollar companies, but trillion-dollar companies. And you would never build a trillion-dollar company without network effects. So Ron, so I love it. So Ron's talking about the group coaching, and he just gave us a bunch of ideas, and Pat's there madly writing them down. And that's the magic of growing your group coaching and doing these types of calls. So I love it, Ron, and thank you. Thank you.
Recently, I had planned on starting a new group, and I had 3 or 4 that were all going to start at the same time, and then we had the holidays, and how the end of the year everybody loses their mind. They have these great ideas, but suddenly, shortly after Thanksgiving, they get into a holiday coma. Well, I had one, and we went through his 90 days together, and he had a great time and got a lot of impact. Crushed the ROI as far as his value to the time. And I said, what could we do better? And he said, what I was missing, and when you get this started, I was hoping for that group you were telling me about. I would love to sit at the table with some other business owners once a month so that we could just share ideas. Or in some cases, I've been in, he actually had a taste of some of them. Chris has an idea or a question, and someone else answers it, and it doesn't have to be me all the time. Someone else answers it, and someone else goes, I hadn't even thought of that question yet. It happens on this call here. So we're putting gasoline on the fire here, but it gets a life of its own. That's so fun to watch if you're interested in impact and leverage and all of that. So
high five. Yeah, Ron, high five. And I love it. For everybody listening, if you're wondering why, we've, 7 months of building group coaching. And if Pat, he opened that up, I mean, this is, whatever he showed, 6 kind of PowerPoint slides of 6,000. I don't know how many go into it, but you got no idea, guys. To say that there's some blood, sweat, and tears gone into this, make your eyes water, quite frankly. But that's the reason why, right there. So love it, love it, love it.
awesome.
Pat, can I ask any comments on what we just, no doubt, you agree? What do you think?
Well, I agree.
Did we
It's
lose
like,
Pat? Oh, there we go.
no, I'm here. You hear me okay?
Yep, we're good.
Well, the crazy thing about group coaching is it's just one of many projects we're working on. And so it's like, this is not the only thing we've been doing. We've been working on a lot of stuff, and this is just the thing that's coming to light now. I think, we've made so many improvements and done so many different things in the last 6 months. But group coaching will get the spotlight 100% next month at the latest. So, but in the meanwhile, we're working on stuff in the background that will make everyone sing in 6 months from now. So be assured of that. So
Awesome.
That is it.
Thank you, guys. And I don't want to hijack the call here, but if there's one thing that if we have time for from an implementation, I got a new client. I've done the assessment. Pat, if you might walk us through if there's time. I don't want to take anybody else's time there, but on an implementation, and you open up the calendar and you start with market dominating position, and you've got, the example of what you're going to do. I'm trying to kind of figure out how to utilize that best. If I was your client and we're on market dominating position, and you said, "Hey, Ron, what's up? Here we go this week," and we started in week 1, from your view as a coach, how would that look?
I'll definitely, and
do?
another update about what's coming here. In a couple of weeks, we're redesigning this entire meeting notes area. So, but I would walk them through what's going on here. I'd, first review the impact we should expect, and we make sure it's conservative impact. And then I just make sure that they understand this completely. They get it, because this is really the quintessential element of marketing and growing a business. And then you've got to go into the competition. You've got to research. You can't possibly know how to find an advantage unless you know what your competition's doing and how they're marketing and how they're not, and what gaps to fill in. So you've got to go into that, and that's some of the hard work. And maybe you're going to do it with them as a consultant, or maybe you're going to coach them how to do it. You might be able to double up on some things if you have a compelling offer. You might be able to work on the compelling offer as well at the same time. And so what I would say, I'd say is, Mr. Business Owner, we've got 8 weeks scheduled for market dominating position. Literally, we've got to go in, we've got to discover it, we've got to implement this through all your marketing material, and you kind of lead them through here. And we got to test it. We got to make sure it works. Maybe the test doesn't work. We're going to try a different test, but we're going to break through. And then we're going to put policies around it. And we're going to train you and your staff on those policies. We're looking at a good 8 weeks there. As we go through this implementation calendar, you see we've got compelling offer takes 5 weeks there, and alliances, joint ventures. I'm just throwing these numbers out there, by the way. But, in reality, we might be able to do a couple things at the same time. Some things might take longer, but this gives us a general sense of how this year is going to go. And you see that, all these things happen over the next 74 weeks. A key point about the ROI is you see what happens up to 52 weeks, and it is additional products and services. So when you look at the ROI tab, and we say in the first year that the ROI is 676%. Here it looks like I'm charging $3,000 a month with a $2,000 initial investment. This number here only accounts for the revenue up through the first 52 weeks.
Mhm.
So up top here, the total profit impact is $360,000 for this person, this business. And here, the 1 year increase, the first 52 weeks, is $256,000, because we can't count the impact that happens in the second year when we're looking at a 1 year ROI. So
Right.
I don't know, maybe a roundabout way of answering things. But,
No, okay, yeah, that's great. And
Actually,
improvement as we just go ahead, Carl.
Yeah. Yeah, Pat, if I could just expand, if you could go back to market dominating position, and I just agree with everything Pat just said, but just as a framework, Ron, this is what I do, right? It's a thing I call it the Uber metaphor. Uber built $100 billion company or whatever they are on two questions: where are you at? Where do you want to go? Or I refer to it differently as the little red arrow. You are here. We determine where it is that you want to get to, and then the coaching call and your coaching is to design a line between the little red arrow and where they want to go, right? So,
Yep. Yes.
so using that as a framework was starting with market dominating position. Little red arrow, you are here. Do you have a market dominating position? Do you know what a market dominating position is? Does your competition have a market dominating position? Are there some examples from competitors and similar types of businesses that have a market dominating positions that we could use and we could leverage off of, right? That would be little red arrow. Where do they want to get to? Logically, they want a market dominating position that separates them from the competition so that they can be the only instead of the best. Everybody's busy trying to become the best. And what you really want to do is you want to be the only, right? The end.
Yeah.
So but are they going to get there? Maybe, maybe not. You also have to be realistic with the local restaurant and the local landscaper, right? But I definitely want to separate them. But they want to have, where do they want to get to? A market dominating position that helps them stand out so they don't have to compete on price. They can compete on value, right? Yada, 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 all those platitudes, but very legitimate claims and things that they want to achieve. And they want to have it consistent across their company. So how do we do that? You're going to see it the A through K on the right-hand side of Pat's screen. Like that's fundamentally how you do it. You'll be able to skip some steps, and some are going to be more difficult, and some are going to be not relevant. But that's kind of what you're doing. And then while doing that, on the left-hand side, what actions need to be taken? Like Dave, I've got no idea. And that's Dave, the chiropractor. He's got no idea of a market dominating position and anybody in his industry having a market dominating position. So actions we're going to take is for him to go do some homework and to come up with some examples of market dominating positions that he sees out there. Right? Like, anyway, does that help as a framework?
No, that's fantastic, Carl. Yes, because otherwise I feel like if they don't know, I will feel the internal pressure to try to help them figure it out because they're paying me, right?
Yep.
So, and I don't want to, that's why I was trying, one of the ways to do that, what you just, I'm so glad we're recording this. I'm going to listen to this again. Having that understanding, because this is crucial, that the relationship is brand new and it's either growing or dying. So I know I'm a sales guy, so I want to make an impact, and I know that first 30 days. So if I just take away and I go really get really adept, and this is probably for all the coaches, because MVP is probably number one on 90% of the people's agenda, do really well with that, and not so that we have to do it, because I'm not a copywriter. I'm not quick with the witty, slogans and different things. I need to be able to leverage. And so if I could point him to a training module, if I have some other resource, I say, here you go, here's a video to watch. Now go do the research, come back when you're done with that, and I'll help you, because I can innovate with them and help them sort through it. But coming up with catching things is not my forte.
So if I could help you with that, and I get that, right? But guess what? Nobody's asking you to be magic, and you're not magic. But if there's a hybrid, I would encourage you to go to over what you just said, where I'm helping them, I'm doing my own homework, because I got to tell you, remember, you're going to grow some muscle, right, by doing that. So
Yeah.
I encourage you, you send him to do some homework, but I would have done the homework before I show up. And after that call, I'm going to do some homework too, right? On what are market dominating positions that make sense for this guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so a hybrid.
Is
So
there
don't
an
be,
insider?
so when you just want to, sorry if I may, just the words that you just used, I'm not, you know what I mean? Whatever it was, quick on my feet and a copywriter. I want to challenge you there. You're not today, but if every single day, think of the compounding effect, every single day, you get a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. In 12 months, you won't recognize this version of Ron that we're talking to today. So, no, you know that, but it's super important for you and everybody listening.
That's awesome. Yep. And I'm Tony, constant and never-ending improvement guy. So I'm
there we go.
Tony Robbins mantra, right? So
that's it.
Cool. Thanks, gentlemen.
That's mastery, man. Don't compete against me. Don't compete against Pat. Don't compete against Adrian, Tony Robbins, or whoever you want to pick. You compete against you today, tomorrow, every day. And it takes the pressure off. Honestly, it really does. It really takes the pressure off. So anyway, Ron, this isn't me speaking to you. I hope you know that, but this is me speaking to everybody here. It'll make life so much easier, I promise.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.
Cool. You bet, buddy.
Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to put you back on mute.
Steve Cantrell.
Steve, there he is. Steve Cantrell. There he is. Steve, you're live.
Gentlemen.
Hey. How you doing, bud?
I'd be doing just fine.
Great.
I was listening to some of the guys on this call and also yesterday on Ask the Expert. One of the things that just popped up in my mind is a new coach risk alert. Excuse me. One of the things you do whenever you're any kind of a project you're doing, whether this or that, or anything you undertake, be careful and be cognizant of what they call scope creep. It's an absolute killer.
Yes.
Well, you have to know when you're doing this, it sounds hard and it sounds cold, but it needs to be done. Be crystal clear with your clients.
Mm-hmm.
Know what you provide, but more importantly, know what you don't provide and what's included in your contract. The gentleman just prior was mentioning that he gets this. I want to help him, and that's a good thing, but it's outside of the scope of a coach, quote unquote.
Yep.
So that's just my 2 cents words of wisdom for rein them in, as well as people.
Steve, I agree.
Excited.
And actually, here's what I think people do, right? Here's the problem that all of us have to guard ourselves from. Okay, they come and pay you X, and let's just use $2,000 a month, 20, and it might be 60, and it might be 12. It doesn't matter what the number is. Let's call it 24 grand a year. And they write the check or they hand you the credit card, and it's like you're their messiah, right? Like they don't know what they want. They don't know where. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get them there, right? So
Correct.
That one you can't, you know what I mean? Like they're paying you $2 grand a month, not 200 grand a month kind of thing. Like your job is not to come in and save them. Your job is to come in and guide them, but you can't guide them if they don't know, what that end destination looks like. So totally agreed on that one. And you need to be cautious, but so you will sign up those types of people, that I can categorically guarantee. So you just got to get really good with what I just described a minute ago, I think, right? Little red arrow, you are here. What is it that you're looking to establish, and what is it that you want? And when I tell you, just tell me here's the thing. You ask somebody, hey, what do you want? With about 80 to 95% predictability, they'll start telling you what they don't want, right? Okay, so you're going to say,
Correct.
Stop. That's not what I was asking for. And if when they start concentrating what they don't want, guess what they do? They take themselves straight into the guardrail and ram straight into what they don't want, because that's what they're actually concentrating on accidentally, right? So,
Correct.
So anyway, Steve, I hear you, and that's great advice for Ron. But that's the problem, and we got to have the solution. So having a tight contract and having tight guidelines, and what it is that you do and what it is that they do, this stuff is all super important, no question. But all the best paperwork in the world is not going to help you with that client that just doesn't know where the hell they're going. So as a framework, little red arrow, you are here. Number two, what are you looking to establish? What do you actually want? And that is a hard thing to help them do, by the way. And your coaching draws a straight line in between it. So, and then whatever needs to happen in between, you know, those 2 points is what you got to do. And some clients are easier than others. And, you know, another thing, and I'm just expanding on all this, Steve, like you want to take on the best client in the world is one who is successful, and then you're pouring gasoline on their success, right? The worst client and the more common client is the guy who is a dog's breakfast. And he's looking for a savior. And if that's who you got, you better get really good at what I just described on those 2 points. Otherwise you're going to have a hellish relationship. And I don't care how tight your paperwork is. Right? Would you agree with that, Steve?
Absolutely. You're going to be more the second one you had there with people are going to be more in the consulting role and actually doing the work than they are doing the coaching role.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%. Steve, you've got to tell us a little bit about you. What do you got cooking? You got some cool stuff. You have a military background, don't you?
Not entirely. I've got overseas international consulting, former Deloitte and Touche, former IBM Global Services.
Oh,
so I got a good solid background and business background. Somewhere along the line, I picked up an MBA from Pepperdine.
Well done. In your spare time?
In my spare time. In my spare time, I try and go out and play golf.
How's the golf going? How did the golf go? We spoke to you on Tuesday. You were on your way out playing golf, weren't you?
Well, you wouldn't believe this. You wouldn't believe the story. I left and was headed down to the golf course and had a gentleman pull in front of me.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Pranged his car, put mine out of commission. I'm without wheels right now.
Shoot.
But I gotta admit, and I had no idea what it was. All I have is this white blur in front of me, and I'm going, uh-oh, the brakes are locked up. I'm going, this is gonna hurt. And if he would have had another 5 feet, or if he would have pushed the gas real hard, he would have been in front of me and gone. But as it was, my little 97 Dakota put a big dent in a 2020 Maybach.
Nice.
There you go. Damn. So the golf game didn't go so well, is what you're saying?
Actually, we completed all the paperwork. The cop gave him a ticket. It was all his fault. So I'm trying to get my car back online. And I went out and played 9 holes of golf.
Oh, well. So you got 9 holes in. There you go. It would have been 12 without the accident. Is that what was going on?
No, it was a 9-hole scramble. It was a networking event.
Oh, good.
Well, there you go.
So,
well, cool.
That,
all right,
all
Steve.
is well.
All right, buddy. Well, be careful when you're driving to your next golf game. We don't want you getting crashed. More accidents. All right, Steve. Appreciate you, bud. I'm gonna put you back on mute. All right. All right. Where are we going here, Pat? We got time for one more, and then we're out of here. Gwenda Joyce. Gwenda. Sounds new. You're self-muted, Gwenda. I'm going to say hello. You got to unmute yourself. Possibly being shy. Possibly not. Okay, Gwenda. Used to be in love with a girl in high school named Gwen for a short period of time. I'm sure nobody gives a crap about that, but thought I'd tell you. Stacy Towels. Here we go. Stacy Towels. You're self-muted. There we go. Stacy, how's it going? Stacy, we can't hear you. You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Okay, Stacy, we're going to put you back on mute. Well, I tell you what, folks. Can you, Pat? If anybody doesn't have another question, oh, hang on a sec. How do I unmute myself? Okay, Gwenda's.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you hear
Oh,
me
there
now?
we go. Gwenda.
Oh, good.
Gwen. How's it going? We call you Gwen or Gwenda?
Gwenda. Gwenda's what
Cool.
I use. It's a little more
What's happening,
unusual.
Gwenda?
Thank you for letting me say hello. I'm glad to be here. Yes, I'm new, and I'm still getting familiar with this process. Today was very interesting, and I appreciate that chance to see what you might do on the first session where you're actually getting in deep, where you start with your client.
Yep.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
so
What's your background?
my background is that I owned my own small business for years. I've been very entrepreneurial, and I started a coaching company where I pretty much created my own coaching about 9 years ago, and I've been doing that. My clients are artists, visual artists, and creatives. And so this is a nice step up for me. I'm excited about branching out into more general business owners to work
So
with.
what's the business that you had for a long period of time? What kind of business?
Coaching visual artists to
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
develop the business side of their careers.
That's it. Because artists are not good or renowned for being very bad at business. So you went in there and provided some guidance. Is that it?
Absolutely. And I would say more than guidance, I provided transformation and
Boom.
a different way of looking at being successful as an artist.
Cool. I love it. So do you still go to artists?
I still work with artists, definitely do. I've got an ongoing group coaching program that I've established that I do, and I like the group coaching. I like the mastermind aspect of working with a group. It's really powerful, just like you were saying.
So,
it's something you want to go to.
So if I were to ask you, if I was an artist, like, give me your one bit of magic advice that you would give me as an artist that they're normally messing up. Can you give me a piece of magic? Put you on the spot, I realize.
Yeah, you're putting me on the spot.
So where did you just find yourself?
I think you have to think of your art career as a business as well as something that you do, that you need to do is to make art. But there's the other piece, which is getting your art out into the world and having an audience look at it, because that completes your art. So you need to be proficient. You need to know, put effort and energy into that other side of the business, the other side of your practice, which makes it a business. And that's probably what you're not doing. That's probably what you're not emphasizing at all. And
So like as an example, can I ask, so an example of doing a, what do you call it? Like I had a buddy who's a professional artist, and we did some like art shows where he had, 10, 15 paintings. He would rent out a restaurant. He'd bring some high-end folks, put on some wine and cheese, and he'd put the price tags in the bottom corner of each of the paintings, and he'd make himself 10 to 50 grand in a night. You encourage that? You seen that work well?
Actually, no, I don't. I think that that kind of one-shot business, launching is probably not the most effective. I'm more of a kind of person who thinks that you should be marketing in an ongoing way. You should be developing your audience in an ongoing way. And then, yes, have intermittent shows. But these days you need to understand internet marketing and use social media. You need really to have 3 pillars of your marketing: social media, email marketing, and having a website, and then making direct sales.
Yeah, love it. Cool. But yeah, to be clear, my buddy, he was building, he had a business. Oh, sorry, I missed it.
Say, if that works for your friend, more power to him. he's got something that works, he should stay with it. But there's also a lot more that can be done.
Oh, look, he's doing exactly. He did 4 of those a year, right? So no, he had all the, he's building his business and he had his regular gallery, but he would just do that sporadically, and he'd go into a different location where they weren't familiar with him. And again, he just bring in he's a pretty high end artist. So anyways, but no, you're 100% correct. But that is for the average artist, that's seen that work pretty well. But you are 100% right. They need to have a business operating, but then, the regular, just like a business coach, you can't just rely on doing 4 events a year, but you should do the 4 events a year, right? So it's designed to augment the other activities. But
Definitely.
very cool. Very
Definitely.
cool.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Well,
I'm excited about this new move for myself, and I really appreciate the support and
awesome.
having.
All right. Well, you're in good hands. We appreciate you, Gwenda. I'm going to put you back on mute. There we go. All right. I think I was breaking up there a little. I got some messages here. So apologies, guys. I was breaking up a little bit. But anyways, all good. So Kenya, Pat, we're about to close off, buddy. Any last parting words for our fine folks before we go?
Practice. There we go. You get the weekly encouragement. Get in the software and work around. And if you're thinking where to start, and of course you do the training. Let me go to that. Can you see my screen? No. Okay. You share my screen. So on the dashboard, go to the training, do the software training, do the 100K training if you have time. I encourage you to do a role play with Holly, new coaches coming in on board. You're going to hear all about that as well. But if you're in, let's say, Jumpstart 40 or Breakthrough 40, every area we have here down the side as it loads, every area we have has a little script at the beginning. And if you're thinking about how to improve over the weekend, or you could copy and paste these, print them out, whatever you like, and just learn. Like, how would you explain if someone says, hey, what's the difference between an alliance and a joint venture? Or what are alliances and joint ventures? You want to be able to explain it without hesitation. Same with someone says, hey, could you explain like the impact of referral systems, or what are referral systems? You want to explain that without hesitation. And the more you practice these, the better you'll get at explaining them. So if you're thinking about how to improve in little ways, go in here and just read these, and then just practice saying it to the wall or to your dog or your spouse or whatever. And the more you do it, the better you'll get, and the slicker you'll sound, in a sense, in a good way. It'll just roll off your tongue, and you'll sound like an expert. So that's how I encourage you this week.
There we go. All right, folks. Well, Kenya, Pat, we appreciate you, bud. And everybody here, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys playing full out, and we will chat to you guys. It's Thursday, so next Tuesday, same time, same place. Thanks so much, folks.